Namibia, actually born in Namibia, and I'm the only Herero activist in Germany, fighting for the recognition, apology, and reparation for the genocide against the Hereros and the Nama people from 904 to 908. This is actually my fight here in Germany as activist.
So I want to thank you very much for your dedication for all the work you've been doing in the cause of Namibia. But you just came back from Namibia. Can you just please kindly tell us a bit about your journey and what is your experience with this journey you just
Actually, my journey is a very long journey. When I left my country, I was 17. When I came to West Berlin, I was in different African countries, Tanzania, then in the 70s, I came to West Berlin and I joined the anti-apartheid movement because Namibia was still under the South African colonial rule. So after we got independence, I started with German history. So the occupation of Namibia, Southwest Africa, German Southwest Africa, and especially the extermination order against our people. As you know, it was the first 20th century genocide. So this was actually my aim to fight and to organize and to mobilize the people here in Germany and actually the government to demand from the German government to recognize our demands, especially for apology, as I said, and reparation. Now this is the problem which we have now with the German government up to date.
You just came back from Namibia.
Yeah.
Can you tell us about?
Well, I came back from Namibia in May this year. We had a small journey, a documentary, especially about me and the situation at home right now. And we visited one of the biggest concentration camps in Swakopmund. The Hereros had an event in Swakopmund to remember the days of our ancestors who were killed in Swakopmund, and this was my aim, to see what's going on in Namibia, and as I experienced, I saw that this economically our people are still suffering, especially the Hereros and the Nama people who lost their land. As we know now, 70% of our land, ancestral land, is now in the hands of the German settlers. So this is our demands. We want our land back. So I saw as I said, the people are very poor, and our government is really not active and trying to deal with it, especially with a joint declaration between the two governments, is for us a kind of a sellout. So this is my experience, my latest experience, and I think is now for us to mobilize our people at home to fight for this for restorative justice. And this is actually what I'm doing here is to go on with our fight and our demands to the German government.
We just learned that the German government has shifted their focus from those that were affected, the victims of the genocide, and now focusing on the government. What do you think, sir, is behind this decision of the German government?
You know, the German governments, they were involved in historically. If you see the Germans from the Second World War up to let's say from 1884 in Africa, Tanzania, Cameroon, and Namibia. Now the Germans, the problem of the Germans is the word reparation. You know, because we demand reparation from the German government. But the Germans are trying to avoid this word because there are other countries in Europe, like Poland, like Greece, Italian, demanding the same thing like us. So if they recognize that it was a reparation, so those governments will point to Germany and say, hey, Germany, what about us? So this is the problem of the Germans, because they don't recognize the genocide as genocide. Of today's, they said of today's perspectives, we can call it genocide. So it means they don't recognize as genocide. But the problem is their historical background.
So do you think, are we moving forward, or is this a step backward? Like this move by the German government, is it a step backward now? Do you think this is a retrogression?
No, it's not backward, because we reached a point where the Germans they cannot return. There's no way of return. So I think we made a very, very big progressive and development, especially in my country, in the parliament. And Germany is now under pressure. So that's why they didn't even sign this joint declaration. So now they are thinking of, to renew we demand not to renew, but we demand a new negotiation. And I think Germany is now under pressure, and one day they have to, because we can wait even 100 years. But actually the time is running, and we are, and the young generation, they are not so patient like we as, they want a change, and we want a change, and we want our land back. This is very important, and we want a reparation. Germany must pay reparation whether they want it or not.
So here you mentioned the youth, you mentioned change, you mentioned reparation, and you mentioned our land. Could this lead to a revolution?
Well, this is, the revolution will come if the Germans are playing, this ping-pong politics with us, then we are going to change it. Our land is in Namibia, and the land is still occupied. So the only thing we can do is maybe to go and to take our land. This is not, and Germany they know about it. They know about our aims and the consequences. So I think, the time has come, and as you know, they started negotiate in 2015, and we put them to court, and now we engaged the United Nations and the Organization for African Unity, and the African Parliament is now busy with this case.
You went to Namibia, and there was a documentary. What is the focus of this documentary? What are we expected to see in this documentary?
The documentary is to show the German public, the people in Germany and worldwide, to renew our information, the new information, and because especially for the young, for the children, for the students, it's very important to come with a new film, with new documentaries, because we are still working. We don't sleep. So this is that we are always moving. We are moving forward. And my aim is to organize and to inform the people here in Germany and worldwide. This is what I'm doing in schools and everywhere.
So you said your aim is to organize with the people in Germany. Which are the organizations on ground in Germany that you are collaborating with to get your message across?
There are so many organizations, especially the African community, the whole African community here in Germany. So there are organizations, the Africa Rat, Global Village, so there are so many, and post-colonial, and each one teach one, and I can mention more, but these are the most important organizations are the African community here in Germany and elsewhere, and in Europe. So we are dedicated, and our struggle will not end with the joint declaration. Our struggle is in history, and history doesn't end with apology. So we continue to fight for our children who are here, who are born here. The new generation here are really. I'm so happy that the Black Lives Matter organization is really active in Germany since the case of Floyd George in USA. So this movement is worldwide, especially in Africa, even in Namibia. The young generation, they are working very hard, and we are now demolishing all these monuments of colonial monuments, even in Windhoek, two months ago. So people are moving.
Do you think the international community, like the United Nations, the Human Rights Watch, and other international organizations, do you think they are doing enough for the cause of the Namibians?
They don't do enough. Even the African countries, the African governments, they do nothing. But if we don't put pressure on these governments, our own governments, so nothing will move. So especially the Namibian government is really right now under pressure, and they are trying to do something. So we say they cannot do things without us, without the descendants or the victims. So this is the point that Namibia government is now totally under pressure, and the opposition is on our side. The opposition parties, as you know, actually we have good opposition parties in Namibia, and they are on our side. Whether they are Hereros or Damaras or Namas, it's not only a case of our Herero and Nama people, it's a case of the whole society in Namibia.
If there is a German that is not informed about this, about the situation of the Namibians, and you want to reach out, a single German, you want to reach out to somebody and change their and affect their views, what would you tell them?
I don't want to organize the Germans, and even if there are some Germans, even in Namibia, the Germans are really denying that they were genocide in Namibia. The Germans in Namibia, they still live in the past. So we have problems with the settlers in Namibia. The German settlers, we call them German settlers because they are settlers, and they are still occupying our land. So we don't beg the Germans to support us. This is our fight. And we don't want them to fight for us. As we fought against apartheid, I was in the liberation movement of Namibia, and now we know how to do the thing. But now we are very peaceful, but 12:10 it will be very, very, very dangerous. And I think we're on the right way.
Can you spell out what you actually want? What are the changes you want to see? What do you want to see?
We don't want any change. We want apology from the German government. We want apology from the German government. We want the German government to recognize the genocide against the Herero and Nama people. And we want the reparation because our land is still occupied by the Germans. We lost a lot. So these are very clear. These three pillars: apology, recognition, and reparation. This is what we want. And especially those Hereros who are in diaspora in Botswana, because of the extermination order, many people have to leave the country as Hereros and Namas by force to Botswana and South Africa, and they are still there, and they want to come back to their land. So this is what we want. We want our land back. It's very important, and reparation. Without reparation, if they don't repair what they did, there will be a trouble.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
Sir, you have stated, made yourself very clear, and I hope the international community sees this and then pay attention to what you say. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. Really good.